So when you hear the word catalyst, it's normally associated with something that speeds up or begins a process of something. Now, what does it mean when it applies to a human? Well, a human catalyst, to put it simply, is someone that has to do everything and put all the work in when it comes to interacting with a friend, interacting with a certain person or a group of people. And what that basically means is the individual will have to start every conversation, initiate all the conversations first, whether it's vocally, face to face, or if it's always texting first. And additionally, the individual will also have to prompt and constantly remind the group of people or individual about certain things, because nothing gets done or things are simply forgotten. And at other times, the individual has to be the one that has to suggest everything and, question things, asking about stuff, saying, do you want to do this? Do you want to do that? Do you want to go here? Do you want to go there? Do you want to play this? Or do you want to play that? And the bottom line is, if that catalyst stops, doesn't do anything, if that catalyst has had enough, feels tired because, it's one-sided, it's not reciprocated, everything dies. And that's what the sad part is. And I don't mean sad in pathetic, I mean it's really disheartening. If you've got an individual that connects so well with somebody else or a group of people, but that individual has to, do all the work, has to keep the conversations going and have to constantly think of new stuff to talk about because the other person is either incapable or that person is just very laid back, maybe lazy, maybe easily distracted, or just very busy most of the time. It is unfair, it's not fun, and it can be tiring. Now, I've been a catalyst in the past, so I know what it's like, and I'm sure there'll be other people out there who are a catalyst. The majority of humans are not catalyst. No, quite a few humans can be users, intentional or not. The ones that do it intentional, yeah, they're bad people. The ones that aren't aware they're doing it, it's not really their fault, but still it's frustrating, in all honesty. And it does genuinely make you question if a individual who is a catalyst between somebody else, and if they stop, even despite knowing that person for several months, maybe years, and if just conversation just suddenly stops because the other person doesn't make an effort or doesn't think of doing creative stuff or doesn't do anything or doesn't engage or show any enthusiasm, it means that they didn't care to begin with, or it just feels like the foundations, there were none. It was meaningless from the start and empty. That's not a nice feeling. What that can create is a sense of doubt and trust issues within that individual you're interacting with or future people. Because, if you, especially when you are in a situation where you get on well with somebody and yet you still have to do all the work, why can't it just be natural? What is the stopper? What's the blockage? Why can't things, work, function? What's the dysfunction? Is it because they're simply busy? Is it because they have issues, mental issues, psychological issues, which stop them from interacting with somebody else? Are they just simply shy? Valid reasons, and they're understandable, but I mean, the only other factor, the only other scenario aside from either being very similar or being very connected is just the idea of seeing the potential of when it does go right. You might get the odd encounter, the odd day, the odd few minutes where you actually see what that person or group of people are truly like. You see a good side to them. You really enjoy that moment, that time. You just wish it could be more frequent. What's the dysfunction? Why can't you see that more often? Why can't you see that side to them? Why can't they be as engaging as they were at that brief period? Why can't they be like that more often? Or is it because they just don't have the energy? Or is it because they're just simply negative? so many different factors, it can get very confusing and complex. And within the interaction and exchange, if there's no honesty, or certain honesty lacking, whether it's because they aren't comfortable enough to share, or they just are completely oblivious and they don't even know they're doing it, it's really difficult to fix the issue. Unfortunately, in most cases, it does fall flat, and it's really such a shame, to be honest. You know, I've seen it with other people. I've heard about other stories with other people. I've experienced it in the past. Just wish it didn't happen. You know, if people are busy, or if people can't do something or can't make it, say it from the very start, the very get-go. I don't agree with people claiming to be this, claiming to be that, saying this, promising that, and they're simply busy people and they just can't be around. State it from the start. You know, if you can't deliver, you can't deliver. It's understandable, but say it from the beginning and not pretend that you can do stuff when you can't, because it just leads the other person on. If you haven't got the same mindset, or you aren't reciprocating certain things, you've got to be honest from the start and clear, because as having been a catalyst, being led on is another problem when it comes to interactions with people. Some individuals get led on because they misunderstand a certain phrase or word or certain actions, certain maybe body language and behaviour, and it gets misinterpreted, and then over time it can build and build and build, and then it can cause confusion, it might cause frustration, it might cause all kinds of different, you know, emotions, and then there's conflict. But if it was explained from the start, like being in a catalytic situation, if it's explained from the start, you know where you stand, you know how to deal with the problem, whether it's walk away from the beginning, or you know, accept it for how it is what it is, and you just respect it. So yeah, that's just like how the way it goes. But nevertheless, it's still a shame when things don't go to plan.